you agree that Hamas is a terrorist organization?
No.
You are fucking retarded.
Okay.
Well, I'd like
Really?
to hear why isn't Hamas? Because everybody does consider
Because
them.
Hamas is an armed resistance group fighting against an occupying army.
How can you occupy your own country?
If Israel wasn't occupying the land of Palestine, creating and fomenting and fermenting in the soil of repression a radical extremist group, like you want to call it, a radical extremist, when you sideline, fracture, marginalize every possible peaceful chance to reform and have ownership and control over your resources, your land and labor, which is your given right according to international law, then you are left with the only option, which is to violently resist.
You think that
and,
rape is
and
resistance?
let me ask you this. If you think that Hamas is a terrorist organization,
I know Hamas is a terrorist organization. I don't think
the Jewish resistance in the Warsaw Ghetto, were they terrorists when they tried to
That is a good
uprise
point. That is a
against
good point.
their Nazi oppressors?
Okay, so
because that's the same exact material power differential.
That is the biggest false equivalency that
I
I've
don't
ever
know.
heard.
I mean,
really?
wait, Tate, is that a bad false equivalency? I feel like he's unbiased because if you are in the Jewish ghetto and you're fighting against the Nazis, you would consider them a hero today.
To be fair, like they were targeting soldiers, where with Hamas, it's more deliberate attacks on civilians.
They did attack civilians. They did kill indiscriminately. They made rudimentary makeshift weapons, which were imprecise. They marshaled any capabilities that they could to violently resist their own annihilation, which they knew. And did they think that was going to be successful for them? Of course not. They knew that they were going to die. They knew that the Nazis were going to. So what was the point of that violence? Why didn't they just lay down and die for the Nazis? If that's your argument,
okay,
why wouldn't they just do that?
In your scenario here,
it's not my scenario.
The Nazis are Israel, and
yes.
The Jews are Hamas.
Yes.
Okay.
In World War II.
Hold on. Now, did the Jews in Warsaw occupy Germany, march into Germany and murder and rape a bunch of people? Did they set people on fire?
No, and neither did Hamas.
No. Yes, they did.
No, they didn't. You're
Did
repeating.
Hold on.
You're repeating lies.
No. Did you watch the footage on October 7th?
I did. Did you see it? Did you see when you saw hang gliders parasailing over an apartheid wall? When you saw bulldozers bulldozing through an apartheid wall? Did you think that was the Wehrmacht?
When you heard the soldier
to
calling
destroy Israel, are you fucking out of your mind?
When you heard the terrorist calling his parents like, "I killed 10 Jews, I killed 10 Jews," that's resistance. Have you watched the documentary?
What are you talking about? Most of the people that were killed on that day were killed by Israel, according to their Hannibal directive.
Oh, do you know what the
according
let's talk
to
about the Hannibal
Israeli
directive.
publication?
Let's talk about
that's what I was trying to get to. The Hannibal directive. And
do you know what the Hannibal directive is?
Of course, I know what the Hannibal directive is. The Hannibal directive is the directive that says that IDF is going to kill its own civilians.
Nope.
Yes. Yes. They must, in order to avoid a political scenario.
Pull up the Hannibal directive and tell me if it
is a little vague, but there are different. This is the one thing, and I'm not even trying to be on Rathbone's side. There is different interpretations of it because it's like a military directive. But if we're just being honest, they did use it on that day, and whether they killed civilians
I think there was 14 civilians. I think the IDF.
14 civilians caught in the crossfire.
Is what they say, and obviously the numbers can be a little fishy.
The actual Hannibal directive prevents the intentional killing of a civilian. It only applies to IDF soldiers to protect military intelligence if they are being taken hostage by the enemy.
So you just concede the point that they are allowed to kill their own people.
No, they're not allowed to. Yeah. If they kill a civilian intentionally, then it's a war crime. It will be investigated and tried. You made it sound like the Hannibal. You made it sound like the Hannibal directive says kill anybody you want for any reason, including civilians. That's not what the Hannibal directive is. The Hannibal directive is a directive that pretty much every military has, where if you have a soldier that's being taken captive, you can take out the soldier. Because let's say they have sensitive information. Let's say they have military intelligence that you don't want to give them.
And you don't want to give them leverage in negotiations.
That is not. So the Hannibal directive talking point is being parroted by people who don't know what it is.
Well, on October 7th, they instituted the Hannibal directive, and then they used Apache gunship helicopters
that's
to mow down
you do have to admit
entire entire
real quick, guys. We're talking about this modern warfare where they're at a music festival. So Zach, I think that you would be very naive to think that if they're using a Black Hawk helicopter, that it would be very possible that a civilian could get hit. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, civilians got hit.
The footage you're referring to of the Black Hawk helicopter, what day was that from?
I'm talking about October 7th.
You're talking about October 7th.
Yeah.
You know what I know what footage.
And I'm talking about publications.
I'm
talking about publications that have reported, according to the IDF, that the majority of the civilians that were killed on October 7th.
What publications? Al Jazeera?
Plus 972, Israeli publication. It's an Israeli publication itself.
Yeah, Israeli.
It's Israeli saying this.
The Jerusalem Post is an Israeli publication. It's basically the MSNBC of Israel.
I didn't say that. I didn't say it came from there.
You're saying a publication. You appeal to authority. The journalist said it.
Oh my goodness!
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like when you got car trouble. Oh, let me ask my mechanic. Oh no, don't appeal to authority.
But this is the vaccine is safe and effective. Fucking talk.
Okay, let's not talk about the vaccine.
No, I'm just saying it's the
We're
same
talking about
thing.
Israel
It's like,
and Palestine.
I heard it from the experts.
Oh
right?
man,
So
yeah.
like,
well, this is how we know.
Imagine that I have sources.
But real quick, this is how we do know vaccines are safe and effective, because one of the most successful ceasefires, in Gaza was so that they could do a vaccine campaign for the Gazans. That's how you know Israel loves those vaccines are very safe and effective if they're giving them out free like that. But go ahead.
The Apache helicopter footage that you are referring to was from October 9th when they were shooting at Hamas terrorists. They were not shooting at civilians.
Okay.
And debunked.
They're not Hamas terrorists.
It's so wild that you are saying these people went into these kibbutzes in Israel and somehow still figured out a way to blame Israel, right? It's like, oh my God, they killed civilians when they were attacked. Like, it's like, okay, if Washington D.C. had I don't know, thousands of terrorists that just came in and soldiers were freaking trying to shoot them and accidentally shot a civilian, and then a year and a half later you're like, can you believe our military shot an American? It's like, dude, I get it. It's like, fucking there was civilian casualties, there was crossfire. Every single death that is on that day is at the hands of the people who went in and started raping and murdering.
Again, that's not there's no evidence of rape, but also.
Hold on. There's rape a lot.
I love that you like to. Wait, just can we
two hostages that came out of Hamas captivity that said I was raped over and over again are lying.
Well, we'll get to the rape, but let him respond.
According, you said that it's everybody that died that day is the fault of Hamas because they instituted Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. They burst through the apartheid wall. They attacked Israel. That is not what international laws say. That is not what universal humanitarian laws say. Every, you read the articles expressed in the UN Charter, it makes clear that reprisals born against an occupying army or an occupying force are the fault of the occupier ultimately because they created the conditions for a reprisal, for an act of resistance, and that is indeed what you have between the Gaza Strip, between the Palestinians and between the Israelis. The Israelis are legally known and concluded to be occupying people. They are an occupying state. How? Because they took land in 1967, and going back to my previous point, UN Resolution 242, when they started the Six-Day War in 1967.
Who started that war in 1948?
Israel started the war.
No, that was the Palestinians.
No. Well, again, you can say
There's been 5 wars.
You can go into your feelings and you can make it personal all you want. But this is not. I have looked it up. That's what I'm telling you.
Maybe
UN Resolution 242 is unanimously agreed upon that Israel started an illegal war of acquisition, and in that war they acquired territory, which is illegal, and then on top of that, they settled that land. They instituted a blockade and siege of that land. These are all war crimes. They transferred people into the occupied territories, another war crime. They transferred the indigenous people to other parts of the occupied territory or expelled them, another war crime.
Who started the Arab-Israeli War of 1948?
It's again. You
don't want to go. You don't want to go back that far. You want to go back to 67.
I'd love to go back. Let's go back to 1948.
Okay.
Let's go back to 1948. Let's go back to 1917. When you say that the Arab-Israeli War that is a misclassification. That is a straw man of what is actually happening. So what you're saying is that if Nazis came into your home and took your home and hogtied you and put your family in the basement and said, okay, this is our home now, and if you fought back, then you're a terrorist. That's basically what you're saying. And it's just a war. It's just a war. The Nazis came in and they took my home, and then now it's a war.
Well, I do want to make the point. I mean, Misfit, don't you have to understand that if your dad got blown up by Israel, wouldn't that radicalize you a little bit? So, I mean, can't you be a little empathetic to them? I mean, if your dad gets bombed, your grandfather got bombed, and
I understand. I understand that there's the argument that if you if you go after terrorists, you create more terrorists, right? And it's an argument that's predicated upon the fact that every conflict that America and other nations have gotten into, where you try to enact regime changes, they fail miserably because there's this resistance. They don't want to change. They don't want to go under your new laws and your new rules. And we don't, God forbid, we try to fucking civilize you people.
Oh my God. Listen to this rhetoric, dude. It is so Islamophobic and just.
I don't think we're Islamophobic enough, especially when you think statistically.
Listen to, I don't even have to really say anything at this point. You look like a clown.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon. So subscribe and come hang out.